The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Friday. Hello everyone, happy Friday. This is Irina, and Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina has a very special guest today. It's Christy Taylor. She's an actress and a singer, and we're so happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Irina. Hi everybody.
So we're also joining the Facebook Live. Please come on our Facebook page, Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina, and you will see me and Christy live. It's a great opportunity for you to say hello in person and ask some great questions. Yeah. So please join us. It's Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina on Facebook Live, and we will also try to share it to some of the groups we have on Facebook. So Christy is very, very talented.
Oh, thank you.
And we met most recently on Behind the Movement. That's the one I remember. We spent a lot of hours in a
waiting
bus together, and that's memorable. Rosa Parks bus, which was, I think it was said it was the original one.
Yeah, it was the bus that they brought in from Montgomery, Alabama. It was the original historical bus, the actual bus that the event happened on. So it was very
interesting.
Moving.
Yeah, we were actually the mean white ladies sitting on
I know. I just hate, I get put in those roles a lot, and I'm like, I'm really a nice person, I guess so.
But, if you watch the movie and you feel sorry for Rosa Parks, we did a great job.
Yeah. If we get a boo, we're doing good.
Yes. So, and you have such a great personality that when you're on set, it's hard to miss you. Like,
oh, thank you.
You have to get to know Christy.
It's because I'm loud, if she's being honest.
No, it's because you're fun. You actually remind me,
Melissa McCarthy.
Spy. Oh my gosh,
I get that a lot.
I'm sure you hear that a lot.
I do.
But yeah, that movie Spy, I was so in love with her after that movie. And when I met you for a short second, I thought you are her.
I take that as a compliment because she's so fantastic, and I'm like, I'm happy with that. Thank you.
But you stand on your own.
I do.
You did a lot of movies yourself, and if you guys had a chance to check out Chrissy's IMDb page, you'll see a lot of movies she's been on. And I think you just finished filming something.
Yes, I did. I finished filming a movie called Through the Glass Darkly, which is a psychological thriller that took place up in the mountains here in Georgia. It was a lovely, lovely, interestingly wonderful film. I can't say enough about the cast and crew. They really treat you like you're a part of the family, and I had a small role where I got to play with some pretty big name people, and it was wonderful. So be looking out for that later on this year, early next year, and you'll be able to see good stuff.
Is it coming up in 2018?
It is. Well, as far as we know right now, the date for airing is to be determined. But I'm under the impression it'll be late this year or maybe early next year. So, but once we find out for sure, I'll update you guys. So.
But I know you film all over the United States and even abroad, right?
I do. Yeah, I have a couple of projects that I'm working on in LA, New York, a couple other places. Really, just wherever my agents. I have multiple agents, so they're always constantly. I get a text at 2:00 in the morning. Hey, are you available tomorrow? I guess I am now. But you make time for the things you love, and I love what I do. So I make the time to do it. So.
And I believe your major in college was theater, right?
I was a theater and an English major, so I double majored. I originally didn't go to school though for theater. I had listened to the parents and the logical thinking in my family saying, are you going to be able to make a stable, steady income doing, film and theater? But because they didn't really know what that entailed. And I said, I don't care if I have to eat ramen noodles every night, I'm going to do it. But, before I changed my major to theater, I was going to school for forensic pathology. So I would have originally been working for the FBI, finding all the bad guys and all that good stuff, which is still interesting, but it's not what I want to do. I'm not passionate about it like I am with acting and singing. It's
So is the theater still first love? Do you still do a lot of stage performances?
I do as much on theater and film as possible. You know, I mean, wherever the lights take me, you know, if a musical or a theatrical straight play or something comes up, even a one-woman show, I'm planning on doing a one-woman show.
Oh, okay.
Here in Atlanta. Yeah, here in Atlanta, it happens in September, and we're still trying to discuss the venues, but we're trying to make it for Shakespeare Tavern in downtown Atlanta.
Okay.
So it is. So that's called Every Brilliant Thing, and it's a wonderful, wonderful play. It's usually done by a male, but we're switching things up. I'm going to keep you on your toes here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But
And haven't you just finished one stage play?
I did. Yes. So down in McDonough, Georgia, I just did a play called Moon Over Buffalo, where the role was originally written for Carol Burnett. So it's a farce, extremely funny, and I played the role that she was in, that was originally written for Broadway, and takes place in the 1950s with two Broadway stars that are kind of at the top of their prime and sizzling down, and some crazy things happen, and they find out a movie producer is coming into town, and they're trying their best to get in on the filming industry. Okay. And weird, bad, crazy things happen, and you know, it's kind of like who's on first, who's on second, what's on third, you know, that kind of thing. And so, oh gosh, it was such a great thing. It was at the Henry Players, downtown McDonough, Georgia.
I see. And I'm not surprised that you chose a Broadway stage, because you are also a singer.
Yes, I am.
And I actually, you know, only recently find out that you're a singer. Like, first I thought of you as an actress, and when I heard your voice, I was totally blown away by some of your songs, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Christy is so multi-talented. Trying not to be jealous here.
No, I appreciate that, though. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really, you know, I've been doing karaoke for years and years and years back home. I'm from Texas.
That's how you got into singing?
I did. You know, I just kind of went as a fun thing one time for karaoke, and I kind of got bit by the bug. And next thing you know, I was going to karaoke every week, and I was learning how to sing and do all these things. And I just thought I was an okay singer. But then I started doing festivals and things, and it was more like paid gigs to go and sing at weddings. And I thought, oh, okay, well, you know, we'll see where this goes. And then it kind of fizzled out until I got into college. And once I got into college, my vocal teacher, Kristen Spires, who is amazing, and she inspires me still to this day. I love her with all my heart. She was so funny. I remember walking in for the first voice lesson, and we were doing scales and, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da and all that stuff. And I started singing, and she literally stopped the piano and goes, oh, thank God you can sing. And I was like, I said, I can? You know? So I got really tickled, and since then, you know, we've been pretty good friends, and she's an amazing actress too, so I try to watch out for stuff when I go home to see her in and to support her and the rest of my Texas Wesleyan University people, because I'm very proud of my alma mater. So, yeah.
And I'm actually dying to play some of your music, if it's possible on the show. I know we posted some of the links on the Facebook. If you guys would like to check out Christy's album and listen to her songs, which is on iTunes.
Yes, so my album is called Untangled. It is a 7-song EP, which means it's a short album. It has several different genres, and you can find it on iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, Google, Spotify. So feel free to check me out, you know, leave reviews. I love those. You know, those really help to inspire my upcoming songs and albums, which I'm working on right now. Yeah, I know. And then I have a Christmas single too that I did, kind of a country bluegrassy version of Santa Baby a while back, and those are also available on iTunes, Apple Music, and whatnot, just like my album Untangled.
Yeah, that's what I saw it as a sample of such different genres, like anything from electronics, kind of a club music,
dance style, all the way to Christian, ballad style. And it's funny that you say that, because my music producer Ryan Snow with BSE, which is Big Snow Entertainment Records, here in Atlanta, here in Atlanta, Georgia. He asked me originally what kind of music I wanted to sing, and I said everything. And he he goes, well, we'll make it happen, and so I just kind of, worked with him and the rest of the BSE team there in Atlanta, and we just came up with what I feel like is a magical album. I'm very proud of it, but I know that a lot of people haven't heard it, and so please check it out.
Okay, let's try to play some.
Oh yeah. So
I hope everybody can hear it on our Facebook Live and on the radio. So we'll give it a little try. So this is a song, Constellation.
Oh, Constellation's my dance song, my workout music. I love this song, by the way. It was the very last ad to my album.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's a great, inspiring morning workout. So
yeah, it is. I guess if you want to do yoga to it, you could. So, yeah.
I can't hear you.
One of the funnest things about doing this song, though, is that I did all my background vocals. So it was so much fun to be able to layer that and say, I want to do this and this and this, and mine going, we'll do it,
Well, I hope we can hear it on Facebook and hear it on the radio.
Too.
So we're probably talking over it, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I cut it up a little bit, but I just wanted to give a little sample.
A little snippet.
A little snippet, and I wasn't sure how exactly it will go, if it overlaps very well with our live show. I'm trying for the first time music on my show, but I was just like dying to let the people listen to at least a little
thank
bit
you.
of it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we can talk about actually giving it a real airplay on Armed Radio later. We were
course.
discussing that, so that would be nice for everybody else to get the actual full song.
Yeah.
To enjoy in a good quality.
That's right.
Which it deserves.
Right.
But
and you can also, like I said before, you can kind of check it out on Spotify too. So if you listen to anything there, they've put it on a playlist. I think it's called Chill Hits. So you can listen to that playlist, or you can just download the album there and just be able to listen to it and support me in that way too. Or, iTunes, Apple Music, all that good stuff too.
How do you manage to do that? How do you manage to have such a busy acting career, stage play actress, movie actress,
producer, director, everything?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. And the accent. So how do you manage all this?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because even when I was in college, I was very, very, very busy. And for a long time, I never wrote anything down. It was just somehow I just magically remembered it. For, 22 on Friday, I had to be at so-and-so and do this and this and this. But I'm thankful that I have wonderful, wonderful agents and managers that help me, and producers that help me to keep track of things now, because I'm booked out on projects like years in advance now, which has been an amazing opportunity. And it's been very humbling, because I've worked very, very hard to get here. And so, this is was a goal of mine to be able to go, oh yeah, I'll be working, in Spain or so-and-so at one time in my life. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to work on a project in LA in a few months, or, in New York or whatever. Or London, which I can't wait to do. I have not yet. Yeah.
Okay, still coming up.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. So.
Yeah, it's fantastic when you actually travel for work and all these different locations.
And it is. And that's exactly what it is, because, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. And I don't care how much I have to research a character, or, study the lyrics to a song, or work on writing lyrics to songs, because I do that now as well. It's all about just continuously being in the craft. And so, I can be up 17, 18 hours a day working and get
it's
home.
Actually a hard work.
It is it's very hard work. It's very strenuous. It's very tedious stuff that you have to be very focused on, the minutia of everything. And somehow, I don't know, but by the grace of God, I've been able to to keep everything kind of organized and
going
flowing.
and flowing. But let me ask you something. A lot of the beginners actors especially, they try it for a year or 2 years and they submit, let's say, 200 auditions, they don't book anything, and they give up. Do you have any advice for them? And also, what do you think is the average where you can tell, okay, it's time for you to give up, you're not really good at it, or should you never give up? What's your opinion about it?
That's a very good point. Very good questions. So I kind of got started, studying the craft later in life. I went to college for theater and stuff, but later on in my life. However, I was always involved in doing shows when I was younger. But even though I was involved, it didn't mean that I was cast in roles. So I learned from a technical standpoint in the beginning of doing lights and sound and helping to build set in high school and being envious of all the people that were on stage singing and doing this acting, because I thought, one day I will be there, and I never could get cast as a role in high school. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just terrible, maybe I'm just a terrible actress, but I still loved it so much. So I tried to figure out a way to be involved with it so that I could still get that high, if you will, which is why I took on the technical aspect. But when I got into college and I decided, this is for me, this is what I'm supposed to do. I probably auditioned for, throughout my career, I've probably auditioned for, 200,000 things, and I've gotten 125,000 no's, and the rest of them have been like, maybe, let's see, could you do this or this or this, or, hey, just give me a totally different take on it. And, part of our jobs as actors is to be able to go, okay, that's weird, but let's do it, and just just go with it, and figure out, of course, as long as you agree with what you're doing, but it's okay to think, maybe I'm not good at this right now, but if you love it so much, you should definitely continue to try and pursue it, because I can't tell you enough that if I had stopped pursuing doing my film and my theater and my musical and my album and producing and directing, if I had stopped that because I didn't get a yes to something, I would be miserable. I'm okay with somebody saying no and just letting it go, because that one no means that someone else is already in the midst of looking at me for a project that may be for a better group of people or a better storyline or something that fits me better, that may reach out and inspire somebody that might not have originally seen the first no. Right. And I'm okay with that. I would rather be told 1,000,000 times no and get one yes that makes such a difference. And that's kind of why I'm here in Atlanta. I moved from my home state, from all my family, from my friends, because this is so important to me. And it's been kind of hard, being away from all the people that you love. I miss my classmates. I miss my, my college, my professors, and my family and, my pets that my parents have, that kind of thing. But at the same time, I know this is where I'm supposed to be, because my career is advancing and I'm making a difference in the people who are wanting to start careers. I try and help inspire them. So
and Atlanta is perfect for you, because music industry and now film industry are both booming and growing.
Yeah,
so you're in the right place. So for a person like you, so multi-talented, it's very important. But I want to kind of point it out to those people who are trying to start a movie career or singing career and thinking like, oh, I'm too old, or I don't look like that person who is on stage right now, that person who is in that role right now. They don't like me, they don't want me. I was actually mentioning that in my blog or my page, on my acting page, that, we're trying to give the reflection of real life. And people like us are real life people.
Right.
So at some point, there will be a story written, filmed for people like us.
Right.
I get a lot of rejection too. Sometimes it's over promises too, and
that happens a lot in the industry.
Just another form of rejection in my
in
my mind. But I think, to your point, the more you try, the more you get to know who you are, the more you're confident in who you are, the better you become an actor or a singer. Because you keep trying despite of that rejection. You keep building your reputation with people in the industry.
Correct.
They learn who you are, they get to know you, and suddenly opportunities just start knocking on your door one after another.
They really do.
You don't have to knock on those closed doors anymore. The doors are opening for you.
I can give you a perfect example of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I first moved here, I moved here for a specific project that was being pitched to Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime to see if any of them would buy into it. And so that's been an amazing project that I've been working on. However, in the midst of waiting for that contract to come through, I'm sitting here kind of idle hands wanting to know what can I do to stay busy with the craft. Mm-hmm. So I was applying for every little thing I could find, anything that was paid, or even sometimes I would do stuff that was non-paid as long as I knew that it would be good exposure for me. So I applied to several background companies here in Atlanta just to kind of get a feel for how the movie sets work here and how the crews work along with the cast, because it's different everywhere you go. And film was kind of a different world for me when I moved here. I was mainly in theater versus film, but I had just kind of dipped my toes in a few years before I moved here. But anyhow, I got an audition from a background company that was for the Adult Swim channel for a comedy show. And my agent calls me up and says, "Hey, this company wants you to come and do like a chemistry test with some people to see if you'd work well with the cast." And I said, "Sure." I don't know what that means, but sure. I mean, in all honesty, the lingo is a little different from theater than it is to film. So that's been a learning process for me too. So I show up, I'm in line, I'm in a room with 25 other women. A lot of them look like me because it was for a heavier set woman. Caucasian or Latina, which I get a lot of. And so I'm sitting there discussing, just talking with the other ladies and finding out that we're pretty much all the same people, for the most part. And I'm thinking, what can I do to make myself stand out amongst all of these other wonderful people and talented people that are here? So I go in. And to my audition, I do my slate. "Hello, my name is Christy Taylor, and I'm 33 years old at the time, and I'm here to audition for blah, 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 blah." And they say, "Okay, you're going to improv with Betty Sue over here sitting in this chair. Just go." And I'm like, "Okay, improv, let's do this." So, you just start doing it, and it just kind of flows naturally. Next thing you know, you're high-fiving people you don't know. I'm stealing gum off a desk from someone, I'm doing all these things because it's crazy comedy. And at the end, I went, I hope that I don't get blacklisted from this company because I've been so goofy and, unassuming of how these type of auditions work. Mm-hmm. However, when I left there, I felt like that was the best audition of my life. And so, but just being myself, because I'm very boisterous. I'm very over the top a lot, even though I'm very downhearted too, I do have a very loud mouth, and I'm sorry, people, I just do,
we need people like that, I feel very mellow on your phone.
It's because I talk a lot.
No, it's good. Sometimes I get tired of talking all the time, but it's good to have you.
Oh, well, thank you. But yeah, I left that audition thinking, I hope that it went as well as I felt like it did. And then I get the call a couple of days later that, they loved what I did. They pulled for me. And even though I wasn't known here, they gave me a chance. It ended up being a really good opportunity. I met a bunch of people, and next thing you know, that little group of 10 or 15 crew members ended up being a networking thing for about 200 other people in the industry here in Georgia. And those 200 became, 1,500 and so forth. So, one no or one yes can just mean the difference altogether.
And it's something I also posted on my blog page that, sometimes people, they go without work for years because they're waiting for serious acting roles. They're taking classes. They auditioning, as they say, as it seems to them a lot, but they kind of pass on the background work. They try not to do that, or any opportunities on set. And there was a discussion, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I personally feel, and what your examples tells me, it's not such a bad thing. If you don't make it your priority, of course you auditioning for speaking roles and your classes is a priority, but you still have time left. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself that you didn't book anything in a month,
right?
Go and meet people. Go network with people.
I agree.
And
some of the best connections, to piggyback off that, some of the best connections that I've made have been doing background here on shows that, have these huge A and B-list actors, that are amazing. And even though I might not have had lines, I still met them, and I still met their personal assistants. And I still met the crew who's close to them. And next thing you know, crew members talk amongst crew members who talk amongst cast, who talk amongst cast's crew, and so forth. So next thing you know, even though you may have only been blur number 7 drinking a cup of coffee in a diner that's blurred out, in the background of some show you've never heard of, that blur, if you've made a good reputation for yourself by, doing what they've asked you to do and being respectful and set and not, taking advantage of the situations that are presented to you there in a negative light, it's going to pay off. So going
in a good, positive, lasting
right, you do. Right, you can't just walk on the set for the first time and be like, oh, I'm gonna be a movie star, I'm on TV, and then post all these pictures on Facebook or all these other social, on social media, because that's it. No, don't do that. Bad example, don't do that, for heaven's sakes. Don't share anything you're not allowed to do. But I personally feel like doing a few background or featured background, meaning you have a little bit more camera time, even if you do or don't have lines, it can be considered featured. I feel like that's important because even doing a couple of shows, even the first one that we worked together on, or the second one we worked together on, The Resident here in Atlanta, I've had people that say, oh, I've seen you on the show. That's so awesome. It's so amazing. I had no lines. But I had they still saw me, and it made a lasting impression on them, which means, those 10 people from home or whoever have gone and said, oh, you remember Christy from college? Oh, we saw her on this show. She's some actress now, and then they start looking you up, and then it boosts your popularity in a positive light. And next thing you know, you're getting offered more auditions. So
and you live in the dream. You live in that life that you actually try to imagine at some point. At some point.
Right.
Like, right now, you're preparing your second album, Back to Being a Singer.
I am.
And when you have to decide between acting projects or singing projects, what takes over?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I've been asked this probably 1,000 times in my life, and I still, to this day, it's like acting is like right above.
Just a little bit above.
It's almost so close that I there's hardly a difference, because I love being able to inspire somebody visually. On stage is a different kind of high for me for acting, because I love to hear the audible laughs. I love to hear the sighs or the cries because I'm doing my job the right way, or sometimes the confused faces of, oh gosh, that was really awkward, but I know it was supposed to be awkward, or the boos if we're villains. I love that. However, doing film is a greater challenge for me, because I am, as you can see, my eyebrows are going crazy. I have lots of expressions. It's hard sometimes to keep my head still and not move. So on film, it stretches me. And I like that because, right now there's more money in film, and it's something that's really grown for me. So my repertoire with that is kind of booming now. But I love it because it's harder. But with singing, professionally, it's just to go into a studio and feel the vibe, and to go in there and be right in front of a microphone and get to sing something that you were a part of the process, either being the writing or the not only the lyrical but the composition or any of that. It's an amazing feeling. That's why my album Untangled is it's such a wonderful thing for me. It was a bucket list, and it was a dream that got to come true. And so.
And you are such a different persona while you sing it.
Very.
I know you visually. I know you as an actress, and you're very fun and very energetic as an actress. But you can be such a different personality on your record. I'm listening to your different songs. It's like different multiple personalities singing.
Yeah.
And I think being an actress, it kind of helps you probably in a
I
way
agree.
to be in that different character while you sing it. I really enjoyed that one of the songs called Kiss Me.
Oh, my sensual salsa song.
I just want to try to play just a little bit of it, but I thought it's so different from everything that you've done on that album. So let's give it a try. Let's hopefully it will play for us. And trying different ways to see which one would work the best. So let's see.
It looks like it's going.
I was hoping we will hear it audibly, but
there we go.
Oh. I still think it goes live on the radio, so.
Okay.
Not sure about Facebook, but we'll see.
Well, it's a work in progress,
Let's
you know.
give it a listen. I really see you dancing under this song.
Just wait for the music video that's coming one day. Telling you.
Can't wait.
Cannot wait.
Yeah. So, but your voice is so different from this recording to, let's say, the Constellation we just listened to. It's like you have a great range.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's a stretch for me too. Being able to balance. Okay, this has to be more. Almost more personal, like this is an actual short story that I'm telling. Constellation's more of like, I'm going to give you a good vibe because this is the way my spirit is, and I'm going to be happy, and happy and just bouncing all over the place. And this one's a love story, this is a woman who's met a man that just means so much to her that she always wants more. She wants one more kiss. That's why it's called Kiss Me, and so she yearns for that. So.
Well, as I said, I don't know how exactly it's going. We're experiencing here. So, as I said, I hope, guys, if you like the little bit we played for you and you listen to it, you can actually go and click on our links to Christy's album.
Yep.
And you can either download them for you, whatever your favorite is.
Right.
There are different genres for different tastes.
Yeah, everything from salsa to country to, I've got kind of a gospel soul song. I've got a Broadway ballad, Constellation, Kiss Me. We've got a song that's called Professional, which is my producer's favorite. He's so funny. Make sure you talk about professional, That's more of like a pop funk type feel. And then Going Home, which is my Christian, just a wonderful song about loss and how everybody has to deal with it, I love that I was able to conglomerate enough with the rest of the BSE crew at the record label to be able to get all of these wonderful songs put together and be able to hopefully move somebody with one of them, even if it's just a line and they go, oh, that was pretty, or oh, that was nice, or oh my god, that's so good, or whatever, whatever they think. I hope you like it. So,
what advice do you think? Could you give any advice to those who are just thinking about the singing career and they don't know where to start? What do you think there should be their first steps?
Sure. So, I think one of the most important things is any kind of career that you're going to get into, you need to make sure you're doing research, that you're meeting reputable people. I happen to be very lucky to meet Ryan Snow, who is my producer with BSC, and to discuss and hear some of his projects and music and say, this is what I want to do. I don't know really how to do it.
So how did you meet your producer? Did you reach out?
Well, he and I met...
email or through events? What happened?
Well, we kind of met through... a website. It was kind of like through a friend of a friend kind of thing. And we connected that way. And I kind of messaged him and said, I see you're in the music career. Tell me more about that, the music industry. And he said,
so
yeah, I did.
Okay.
And I said, this is, this is what I want to do. Would you be interested in meeting? And next thing you know, we meet up for lunch or whatever, and we discuss kind of what I've just said, and he says, yeah, we can, why don't we just, you listen to a few things and I tell you what we need to do from here. And it works out perfectly.
So should you have something ready before you sign with a label? Like in your case, did you have a demo already recorded? Or what do you think? Like, for example, if you're trying to sign with an agent as an actor, you have to have certain things lined up.
Right.
Something they're looking for. Is there, like, I am totally unaware of the music industry. So I'm kind of interested. Like, is there something that, even if you are not signed with anybody, but you have that inspiration that you can prepare in advance or you can pitch to people?
I think so. So, going in and meeting with a record label, it doesn't necessarily have to be, Sony Records or, Virgin Records or these big record labels, because sometimes some of the best music comes from independent label companies. And I think that if you've got any kind of video or, lyrics, or even just strummed out something on your guitar at home on a weekend when you've, been hanging out with the buddies, as long as you have something, an idea, or even just a recording on your phone
like
of something.
Cover, like many people do on YouTube nowadays.
Right. YouTube is a monster for finding, talent. Hence, why Ellen and all of these, big rappers, 50 Cent, Ludacris, and all these people find these extremely talented people because they've taken the time to go, okay, hey, what's up, guys? My name is so-and-so. Listen to my original stuff and tell me if you like it. And, some people won't like it. That's okay. We're not supposed to like everything we hear, or we wouldn't have different styles of music,
right.
But I've, written some stuff and hummed out a little tune. Even if it was off key, it was just, okay, this is kind of the idea I like for the song, and I'll send it to Ryan and say, what do you think about this? And he'll either say yes, or maybe try something a little along this line, or what if you did this and this? And then I kind of go back and I play with it a little bit. So it can be somebody that's a friend of yours, or heck, a karaoke person that goes with you and practices. Or sometimes karaoke DJs can record you singing. Hint, hint, that might be something to check into if you're interested in the music industry. That also helped me in the beginning.
Right, and you were like karaoke queen.
2005, I have a trophy. I was, that's not bragging, that was really fun. It was kind of an unexpected award that was given to me back in 2005 in Texas. But yeah, I think it was just because I went to karaoke all the time and I loved to sing, and that was kind of, I really did more singing back in those days than I did acting, and then I kind of flipped the switch when I came and went to college and changed my career path. So.
But I mean, it's great you can do both. It's like, I'm doing modeling, I'm doing acting. Something is sometimes a slower time for a certain industry, and it's a busier time for another one. Or you might be not having enough projects in one area, and you have a time to focus on another.
Right, and I think that's very important.
Right,
Important point.
Kind of busy and creative at all times, right, and sometimes you just need a break as well.
And I say, whatever you think, don't get discouraged, because. Like I said before, you may get 1,000 no's, or you may have a time where you haven't worked for months and months and months because there's just nothing that fits for you right this second, and that's okay, because I'm a religious person, so I completely think that our paths are being we're being led on a certain path, and as long as we're willing to kind of follow that and be honest and truthful and be hardworking and humble about what we do, that we're going to end up landing those things. And so I've eaten my fair share of ramen noodles because I've had times where it's been slow, but I'm a ramen noodle connoisseur now, I can tell you. 65 different ways to cook them, but that's okay, because at the time I was like, well, I didn't get that one, but I'm gonna write poetry, or I'm gonna work on a book because I'm also an author, and and so I'm gonna try to work on something that gives me enjoyment. And as long as you're doing something that makes you happy, that doesn't mean you have to continue to be unhappy in certain areas. You just have to go, okay, it's going to eventually happen. As long as you have the faith and the dedication and the determination to make it, you're going to make it. So
how do you go about the critic? Because there are so many people who offer their opinions about what can get you better, especially in our industry. We're very competitive, and you're constantly being compared to other people, and you can't help it but compare yourself to some working people on the project, and you feel like, well, this person booked it. Maybe if I was like that,
maybe if I did something,
booked it as well. So how do you go about that criticism? Do you try to act on it, or do you try to keep your confidence on who you are and your integrity and stay the person you are and hope for the right match to come? Or do you try to adjust for what industry insists on at that particular moment and trying to make those people happy? So how do you take it? Are you trying to make adjustments based on what you were told, or are you trying to just let it go and stay who you are and believe in yourself and remain the same person? Or do you find some kind of middle road?
Well, I think it's different a little for music versus acting, for sure. But with acting, I can't tell you how many times that, because I am a fluffy, or as I call it, thick and thuggin' woman. There you go, a realistically sized woman. I can't tell you how many times that I've been, body shamed, and I've been looked down upon because, Christy's a big lady, so we'll just put her in this role where she has no lines. And, at the time I'm like, well, I wish I would have gotten that other role. But I also have to think, even though I didn't get the role I was looking for, I still got something. So I'm still involved in the production. So which means that even if you're not talking on that particular moment, they may say, oh, she has great reaction. She has great facial reactions, or she, has subtle acting moves, or,
which is so important.
Which is so important.
She can be the prettiest girl in the room.
But if you do weird things like this on camera, they're going to go, oh, what's wrong with her? Unless it's meant to be that.
I remember my pictures. I was blinking so much, and I was like, I never realized how much I was blinking before I started recording. Oh my God! And, like, what's going on?
But I think a lot of the times with critics, constructive criticism.
How can you tell the difference what you should listen to and what you should not? How do you judge yourself?
Well,
because everything comes from the good place, but you never know. Sometimes it's just maybe their own insecurities that come.
I completely agree.
Because we are so different. Like you cannot believe that how much I get the criticism sometimes, but it comes in a very polite and very weird form. But you think, like, should I really change something and adjust about me, or should I just ignore that? How do you make that judgment?
I think it's only natural to judge. I mean, we are humans, so we judge no matter. We judge the book by its cover every time. I don't care who you are. You're going to look at something and go, you immediately have some kind of judgment, whether it be bad or good or what. But I think it's about trying to figure out where the source is coming from. So if it's Joe Schmo that's, on Facebook, and he's put, 1,600 negative reviews on various people that you personally know have had wonderful work, or, they're trying to be an up-and-coming actor or a singer or something, I think that person might not be a good, source to listen to, because it just seems that they're just going to be kind of negative and try to bring your spirits down. But there are people out there that go, well, I don't really care for your music, and here's why. And I go, okay, tell me, because I'd rather know, what don't you like about my music? Because if I'm getting it from you, it's probably out there for somebody else too that doesn't care for it. And I'm okay with that. Not everybody's going to like the way I act, the way I look, the way I sing, or me being bubbly. That's okay. But I also have come to terms to know that. And so in our industry, whether it be filming or modeling or singing or stage performance, you have to understand that, people can give their word. They can give their opinions, and you can say, well, I appreciate your opinion, and look back on it in comparison to the other comments and things that you've received, and you can take it to heart and say, I really think that what this person has just told me could make a difference, or that he makes a good point, or she makes a good point.
You have your best interest.
Right. And you can usually tell, you kind of judge a fruit by the, a tree by the fruit that they bear. So, when I met you, I knew that you were going to be a nice person, because you didn't have this look like, get away from me. You were smiling. You said, hello, my name is Irina, and I said, hey, I'm Christy, and we instantly were able to connect. But, certain people have different personalities and airs about them, and you just have to take it with a grain of salt, and know that some people just aren't going to like you, and that's okay. But there's a lot of people that are, compared to the people that aren't. But focus on the positive, because I feel like you don't want to listen to all the negative and let it weigh you down and hurt your heart.
So many people in this industry, they got actually very hurt by all the rejection and criticism that they encounter for the first time or for a long time. So you kind of have to be a judgment.
You do. You have to have thick skin.
Yes.
And it takes years sometimes. Some people are just able to, some people are just able to go, yeah, I'm good. come on, bring it on, negative comments.
Right.
But me, it took me a while because I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I had to say, well, I wonder why they don't like me for that. Or, why did so-and-so get that role and I didn't? And then I have to turn back and go, you know what? I watch it after, they've been picked and they do their filming and it comes out in theaters or on the TV and I go, oh, now I understand. And then I can maybe take something from seeing, not really steal their movements, but understand maybe they were a little more subtle with certain things that they did. Or, maybe their vocals on certain parts of their songs were a little more riffy or Broadway style.
Mm-hmm. So you constantly learn.
Excuse me.
Oh, fine. So you're trying to learn from the best and from the people in the industry. I mean, I'll definitely look up to the actors who are booking the roles and booking the projects. But at the same time, you can't just say, oh, sometimes it's just the vision that director has or producers have.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they just have that. I got you talking too much, right?
Oh, no, it's okay. Apparently, I don't know how to drink a glass of water or wine.
So tell me about what's exciting projects you have on, because I know you have quite a few that are either about to come out or
excuse me.
Yeah. Water, wine.
So I have several things that I'm working on in the future. I have, like I said, I just wrapped a movie with some pretty big people up in LJ, so that'll be coming out the end of this year, next year, sometime. That's called Through the Glass Darkly. Fantastic psychological thriller. When I got the script, I went, oh, I'm so glad I'm a part of this. Like, it kept me on the edge of my seat, even just reading it. So that's fantastic. I'm also part of a Netflix pitch called The Blueprint Saints, and I play a supporting character named Carla Frost. And it's, let's just say, I feel like it's kind of like a Heroes meets Woody Allen kind of superhero comic series type feel, which is really interesting. That's a longer project, so that's kind of just ongoing occasionally kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that kind of takes me all over the place. I'll be all over the US, all over Canada, parts of Mexico for that. So that's an ongoing thing for, I'm not sure how long. Yeah. There's a feature film that I was cast in that there's not a whole lot of information out on that right now, and it's called The Story of Six Dog. That's a working title, so who knows if that's going to change. Yeah, but that takes place in London, so I cannot wait for us to get to film that. That's hopefully by the end of this year. That's what I keep crossing my fingers, Let's do that, and
you have passports, right?
I do. I mean, they're in a bag. I've packed my pre-London bag. No, but I did a movie, filmed it last February, so February of 2017, and it comes to theaters May 1st and 3rd of this year. It's a select theater only. It's called Like Arrows. It is a family film about the struggle that a family's having and what they do to overcome it. It's a beautiful story about loving each other through the hard times and dealing with the things that are thrown at us that can cause such negative airs and, attitudes, and how sibling rivalry can cause problems and how families really work together to overcome those things. And it's just an amazing story. I tell you now, bring the tissues. It's amazing. I've seen it.
It will be filmed in Atlanta?
It was filmed up in South Carolina, in Fort Mill, South Carolina.
And which movie theaters is it going to come out? Is it like nationwide? Or
it's select theaters nationwide. So you can actually Google it, just Like Arrows or The Art of Parenting, either one of those, because it's a kind of a combined title. Mm-hmm. And when you look at those, it'll pull up Pro Family Films, which is the Christian company that does awesome work. So the producer is Kevin Peoples. He was the director, and he was also worked on War Room. So if that can kind of put it in comparison for you. War Room's amazing. So this is just equally wonderful.
We'll make sure we'll share the trailer on our Facebook page.
We'll share that so you can kind of keep an eye out for it. I played a small role, but my role was Christy. So, and I kind of joke because they wrote me a letter saying, it must be in the name. You brought some, positivity to the scenes, and it was amazing. So that's happening. And then right now I'm working with the BSE teams for a re-release or a revamp of my album.
So it's going to be a full edition now?
It'll be a full edition. Okay. So basically I'm working on a music video that'll come out in the near future. We'll just say that. It's in the works. Yeah, you can't really put a time on some of the music stuff because you have to depend on about a million people to look it over, edit, crop, mix, master, all this stuff. And so, but music videos like crazy. I'm trying to work on those, and I've become a writer, which has kind of just been blessed upon me. So I've written several songs that I'm working on, and I'm doing a few songs that Ryan and his team has
always been so interested. How do you write songs? I mean, I tried to write poems at some.
Well, sometimes poems turn into songs. Okay. Believe me, yeah.
So is it like a teamwork, or do you come up with the whole song, or how does it work?
One of my songs that I came up with is originally called Starlight. I'm not sure if I'm going to change that yet, but I actually wrote it with an old friend of mine. He was playing on the guitar, just kind of fiddling with it, and he came up with this, neat little sound, and I said, "Oh, I like that. Play that again." And he played it, and I said, well, what if you did something kind of slower for the next portion? And he said, like this. I said, no, maybe like this. And I kind of hummed out something. And he did it, and I went, oh, yeah, that sounds pretty good. And then he just kind of played with it. Next thing you know, we have a song without the lyrics. And then I just started playing around with what I felt like would be good for the feel of the songs. So I
was always wondering, like, what comes first, lyrics or music?
And it really depends.
It really depends
because
okay.
I don't know some of the stuff I've written, some of the songs that I have that are, I've written on my iPhone while I'm waiting on a movie in the movie theater to start, and I'll go, oh, I like that, let me just continue that, and I'll write something, and then I'll send it to Ryan and say, hey, what do you think about these lyrics? And he'll go, that's good, or he'll say, no, that's weird, or he'll say, maybe you need to add a little more, funny or whatever to it. And so, and I try to write things that have they're going to touch you in some way, not just something that's, ridiculous lyrics that make no sense. I want it to tell a story. I feel like that's what we are as artists. We model for a reason. We sing for a reason, we act for a reason, and everything that we do tells a story, whether it be with a facial expression or a simple wave of the hand or mannerism. Everything with us is a storyteller. So,
yeah, so that's a lot you described to us right now, what you're working on. And, it might seem like, you have this positive and bubbly spirit about you, and you were just born that way, and, everything was perfect in your life. I know that you've been through some hard times, and despite of all that, you are the kind of person that you are. Like, I don't want to go to all the tragedies, but I just want to just kind of encourage those people who are going through the hard times and, might be having some difficult situations or a difficult time in their life. Don't get discouraged by that.
Right.
Because I know you had some trauma, even though you were in athletics. I actually watched some of Christy's interviews from previous years.
Previous productions.
I learned more about her because sometimes on the set, you not always have a time to get to know somebody very well. So I learned about you that you've been through your fair share of difficult
heartache
times and heartache. And, I'm just always admiring that positivity that you come up with despite of all that. It kind of gives you a depth as a person when you portray other characters and you're able to, understand and relate to different situations. But just, guys, stay strong out there. If you're going through a difficult situation, or it feels like you have experiencing the worst time of your life and your dreams are so far away, just believe in yourself. And Christy here is a great example that if you're persistent, hardworking, and positive, and you truly believe in yourself and your call, and you can accomplish so much.
I agree. You should never continuously focus on the negative. Just take it as one person didn't care for me and just let it go. To that one person that might not care for you for whatever viable reason or unviable reason, there's a million more that go, oh, there's something about her that I kind of like, or, or she's kind of funny, or, oh, she's really sweet, or, oh, I like her, she's the crazy aunt, or whatever.
Yeah, try to find the people who want to work with you.
Yeah.
And there are fans who will adore you.
And they support you.
And they will support you.
They do.
I mean, I cannot imagine that we wouldn't have, for example, Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, I know. The world would be a worse place. A terrible place without her.
I don't know how many times I watched The Spy and other movies. voice and stuff like that. And I just can't imagine that we wouldn't have her. I can't imagine life without having people like Christy, you know, who are so positive. And definitely, I'm sure that you guys watch some of her movies, you will see what I'm talking about. Like, you will enjoy her acting. And if you listen to her album, I'm pretty sure you'll be enjoying just as much of her singing. I mean, she has amazing voice,
thank you.
Amazing, you know, range, and such different genres. And it's truly amazing to me. So I'm very honored to meet you and have you as a guest.
No, well, the honor's all mine. I appreciate, you know, you guys taking the time to be able to talk to me, and hopefully, you know, me being able to reach somebody out there that's watching and go, oh, okay, well, if she can do it, I can do it. You know, you know, that's all it is.
That's
you know,
the kind of the effect I'm hoping, you know, to live in this world, because you know, some people look at you and they think like, oh, I have an accent, I will never make it in this country, you know, with the accent as an actor. And then
so not true.
I just caught up on the whole 3 seasons of Devious Maids, and I'm like, every single person in this movie pretty much has an accent, you know, either it's a.
But you use the things that sometimes you feel like are a flaw or something that may keep you from
turn them into your strengths.
They do.
Make yourself to stand out. Yes, you might not be booking every single project, but nobody does.
That's right. And same thing with music, you know, going back to my album and you know, looking at the different areas where I put it out for sale and stuff. I look at it sometimes and I think, oh, well, you know, I only have this number of sales, and I'm like, well, maybe my people don't, you know, maybe people out there don't really care for my music. And I still at the same time I go, but that's okay. Maybe they just haven't had a chance to hear it.
Yeah.
And so you kind of keep a positive light and you go, okay, you know, well, if people on Amazon haven't found it yet, well, maybe let's look at iTunes or Apple Music, you know, and search Untangled. I can't tell you how many times I Google, you know, who is Christy Taylor, or what the heck is she doing, or, you know, or what kind of music does Christy Taylor sing? And then, you know, seeing all the different answers and stuff and going, okay, well, I've reached somebody, or they wouldn't have searched that, or, you know, I've reached, you know, these people over here, and maybe, you know, I love to be able to meet people that are trying to get into the industry and say, you know, at some point I had to ask for help in the beginning, and I had to say, how the heck do I get to where I am, or before, and you know, before my career ends, or you know, I don't want to stop, and I had people that said, you know, please help. And I say, okay,
so, yeah, definitely.
Here's what I can
Christy.
do.
I mean, we shared a lot of links for her profiles, and reach out to me with any questions and make a video.
All right, you got to wrap it up.
Okay, so we're wrapping up for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and have an amazing Friday night.
Yeah,
we'll
thank
see
you
next
guys.
week.
Bye.
Bye.